by. This is CHSR 97.9 FM here in Fredericton, New Brunswick, Canada, and you're listening to Python's Paradise, your film and music show. And this is your host, Greg Gilbert, a.k.a. the Python Hyena, and I am joined by...
Shilo Sixx from Film Fantasy.
Yes, and we have a great guest on the phone today. I got to give her the proper introduction. You see, we're going to go back to summer to a little place called Bushwood Country Club, where the Gophers are running rapid, where the hotshot golfer is busy being the ball.
Bill Murray is a hijink.
Yes, but we're here to talk to the loveliest resident there. She is up from...
Who's that?
She is up from dreary old Manhattan because she's tired of having fun all the time. We have the lovely lady who played Lacey Underall from Caddyshack, which is celebrating its 35th anniversary this year. I'm glad to welcome, it's an honor to talk to Cindy Morgan. Hello, Cindy.
Hi, guys. How are you? So happy to talk to you. I'm talking to Greg and...
My real name is Chris, but my DJ name is Shilo.
Is what?
Shilo.
Oh, Shilo. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I got Chris, Shilo, and
Actually, there's just two of us here. We both got DJ names, but you can call me Greg.
Okay, Greg and Shilo.
Yeah.
There we go.
Who has multiple personalities, but that's another story.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
tons of stories.
Okay. So thank you guys, and thank you for your patience. I mean, it's such a nice and such a warm and wonderful feeling that so many people love this movie so much that so many folks wanted to hear about it. So sorry it took me so long to talk to you, but I'm just really happy. I think it's. Can you imagine if somebody said to you, "You did something 35 years ago, and we can't stop talking about it"? I mean, if it's a good thing.
I actually spent a whole day in the summer just watching Caddyshack. I watched it 4 times in a row.
Okay, I'm a little afraid of you now.
Well, I couldn't stop laughing at the hijinks in it. Bill Murray, all the characters,
okay.
Ted Knight.
Well, you know, it's interesting because my background with this movie, I remember when I first saw it, strangely enough, I didn't care for it.
Well, it is a lot to take in, and it was very, very different and very, very counterculture. And how old were you? Were you born?
I was 8 years old when the movie originally hit theaters.
Yeah, if you didn't like the Gopher, there wasn't in it, so anything for you in it. So.
Well, what had happened is that, I got to thinking that I loved Chevy Chase and Rodney Dangerfield and Bill Murray and whatnot, and I got to thinking, I got to go back and look at that movie again. Maybe I just was having an off day.
Missed something there. Well, you were 8 also, so yeah.
So I watched it again, and I'm like, it's become one of my very favorite comedies.
Oh, that's so cool. That's good to hear. You know, it's funny. You know, when I hear people say how many times they've seen it, actually. To me, it's like a great song on the radio, a great song on my iPod that I listen to because it just puts me in the right mood, a great mood, makes me feel good, and that's what I think Caddyshack is to a lot of folks. It's like that great song on the radio. You can just listen to it again.
Well, tell me, you of course were very, very beautiful.
So thank you.
Yes, and I want to know, how did you come about getting the part for this film?
Accidentally, I think. I was sent the script, and I went, well, this isn't me. I was 12 years of Catholic school, 4 years of Catholic girls' school, fixed up with cousins for both of my proms. I had nothing to lose. I said, all right, I'll go in and play this. You know, why not? You know, I mean, it was just it's so absurd. This wasn't me. You know, it was like Clark Kent going in to play Superman. Okay, I'll play this. Well, you know, called back for another audition, and I'm just laughing through the fence. This is crazy. They're calling me back. So I beg you call back. Finally, the third callback, I look around at the call sheet, and I'm the only name on it. That's when I got nervous. These guys are serious. They think I can do this. I can't do this. And I walked outside in the parking lot and walked myself around. I went, all right. Just calm down. Just forget the words. Forget what's going on. Just look at who you're reading with. Hope it's a guy. Look them dead in the eye and make them sweat. Now, that I know how to do. Well, I was lucky. It was a guy. It was Doug Kenny, and he was sweating, and I got the job.
Doug Kenny, unfortunately, no longer with us. He was one of the
I
founders of National Lampoon's magazine.
I know.
And
Everybody loved Doug. I mean, he was, high-spirited, passionate, funny, just and kind of distraught over, how the Caddyshack turned out. But I dare you to find somebody who didn't like Doug. Doug was awesome.
Well, Doug Kenny, of course, played Stork in Animal House, and he was, he had that one line. Of course, Tim Madison said Stork. Everybody thought Stork was brain dead, and then Stork had that one line at John Belushi where he goes, "What do you think we're supposed to do, you moron?" The one line he had.
Oh, that's my favorite line in Animal House.
And
yeah.
But Doug Kenny, I gotta wonder what he would think of Caddyshack today, because I understand he wasn't happy with the fact that they were going with the...
No, there was a lot of disruption going on during the post production. Well, first of all, there was none of it made any sense when they got the film back, because so much of it was ad libbed. People were saying whatever the hell popped in their heads a lot of the time. And the thing was, you had four of the funniest men of the planet doing what they wanted. And the other thing was, it was all really, really good. The gopher sequence, most of it, almost, there was like a gopher puppet on the set, I guess, but most of the gopher stuff was shot after the fact to tie the story together. The whole story about Billy chasing the gopher was written and shot after the fact to give it a storyline. The original storyline was about the caddies, and that hit the floor, the cutting room floor.
And it's interesting because the actors playing the caddies, I don't think they feel any animosity. I think they're happy to watch these comedians.
Oh yeah, they do. Oh yeah, they do. You haven't talked to them. They're not. Well, they're not thrilled, but they're happy to be part of a great film. So there's that.
And you had that great scene there at the pool where you're walking down there and all the guys in the pool breathing in to make their chest pull out, and you had that great scene on the diving board.
It was a rough scene. That was the first scene I shot. I walked out there thinking, how the hell am I supposed to do this? This isn't me. How am I going to pull this off? And I walked out, and all these guys are doing it. And I go, well, they're buying it, so maybe it's working. And that was it. That's how we started out the film.
Did the people from Catholic school get on your case about it?
My first grade Catholic school teacher is still alive, and she saw the book I'm writing, From Catholic School to Caddyshack. I showed her the iPad, and this is the woman who taught me how to read and write, and I'm showing her how to use touch screen technology. It was pretty cool. I mean, I had nothing mean to say, and I pretty much just said, hey, I've lived a more worldly life probably than you have, or that you would appreciate, but it is what it is. It's not mean-spirited, and it's just where it was in 1979 when we shot the film.
I think it's really funny that the cast or the crew of the film actually turned around and sent the producers and the club owners off on a meeting, and they turned around and blew up the course anyways.
This is my understanding. That's the story John Peters tells on the Biography Channel special. And knowing John Peters, he probably did it. Yeah.
Yeah. The owners of the golf course didn't want them blowing it up in fear of, or doing anything with it in fear of damaging it.
Blowing up your property with gasoline,
and I find it
throw gas and everything and blow it up.
I find it funny that they did it anyways. Though they convinced them to head off to a meeting and blew it up anyway.
That's how a lot of things were done over there. I don't think films will be done like this again for many reasons. Partly because the insurance companies wouldn't allow it. But yeah, lots of stuff was done like this.
Well, Rock and Roll High School did something similar at the end of their movie, too.
Okay.
Yeah. The blowing up of the high school.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
There you go. But, no, that book you're writing, I've been curious, when is that going to be coming out?
Yeah, ask my lawyers.
That works.
Listen, if I could write as fast as I talk, and I can, I have voice-activated technology. I can. It's a question of things getting released and then moving things along. I'm more than ready and spring-loaded to finish this. It's storyboarded. It's 80% finished. Everything's laid out. It's just a question of filling it in and getting it done and getting people to agree, and believe me, I can write as fast as I talk, and I think you know how fast that is.
Uh-huh. And I like it.
So Lacey, of course, arrives on the scene, and she's the attention to every fella there. So who would you say, who was the best kisser?
On screen or off?
Us go either way.
I thought I'd fire back a provocative question.
That works.
On-screen kisses are on-screen kisses. You're really not into it. It's more, work in 180 degrees under giant lights and, about 50,000 sweating guys hanging around. So it's not exactly what it seems to be. The guys were all pretty well. And again, it was 1979. So just understand that women did everything the guys did. And it was a different time. It was a different time, a different place, and I enjoyed my job thoroughly. How's that for an answer?
There you go.
I would like that.
Although I envy every one of them that got to kiss you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. But no, you had, like I said, 4 great comedians on that film, and
oh yeah.
I think we'll start with Chevy Chase here. What was he like to work with?
Chevy, okay, so when I found out I was doing the film and I found out who was going to be in it opposite me, I made sure I stopped watching their work so I wouldn't be as intimidated as I could have been, and I just took things at face value as I met people. And Chevy, of course, is very talented, very quick on his feet, and a handful, very quick at improvising, on and off script as he chooses, and I had to follow, and stay in that scene. If I wanted in that scene, I had to fight for it. And there were times there were actual words flying, but you know what? That's where our best work was. Our best work is when we were, because love and hate are closer than you think. And if you play a sport, you guys play sports, right? Or,
I don't.
Yeah. I do, yes.
Or chess, or checkers, or video games, or something. And if you're playing with somebody who's maybe better than you, don't you bring your A game, and aren't you better because of it?
Oh, I always do. I'm a man.
Yeah. Well, I'm a woman, and I'm not going to. And I'm from Chicago, and I got quite the attitude. So I had to bring my A game. I had to be better. He's good, so I have to at least stay in the fight with him, and made me much better. He's talented, and he was fun and funny and great to work with.
That scene where you guys are at the scene where you guys are at the piano, I understand that was
totally ad lib.
Yeah, that sequence was absolutely hilarious. I still laugh at that all the time, And he's did he actually know how to play piano, or was he just screwing around?
Good. He does know how to play the piano.
Oh, he does.
That scene was not in the script. It wasn't rehearsed. It wasn't even discussed ahead of time. Harold Ramis came over and said, just go sit down next to Chevy and say, sing me a love song. I went, why? He said, just go sit down. Sing me a love song. And I look. Now watch my eyes next time you see the scene. I look at him. He snorts the salt, turns the tequila, and launches into I Was Born to Love You. Now watch my eyes. I look at him. And all of a sudden, out of the corner of my right eye, I see the damn camera light. I went, son of a gun, they're filming this. That's how I found out we were doing the scene. And then I laughed a little bit. And from that point on, I was in on the gag.
And he was singing about licking your face and whatever else.
I was just like, okay, I get it. We're doing the scene. Go ahead, yeah. And that was tequila I took a shot of. And I had a big wad of gum in my mouth, and I blew a big bubble in his face, and that was the button on the scene.
Do you think he still bees the ball?
I think Chevy can do whatever he wants. Chevy's really, really, really talented. Probably one of the most brilliant people I'd ever worked with. Yeah, he was a handful, but because of that, I had to be better. And you know something? In a lot of things, you can see how generous he is setting me up, because I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And he really, really, helped me along a lot. Even when we were fighting, forced me to focus up. When someone's fighting, you better focus up.
One of my favorites from the film, and I remember when he passed away the morning I heard it, and I just, I felt bad, was Rodney Dangerfield. I was always a huge fan of his. What was he like?
Oh. Rodney was great. This was his comeback film. This was his first film. He was doing stand-up comedy before that, and had been briefly selling aluminum siding to support his family. So he was very nervous, partied more than any of the younger kids on the set, and here's the story. They would break for lunch whenever the spirit moved them. we would just break, and it was just me and Rodney sitting. I'm telling you, hundreds of thousands of people would like to be at that table. I can tell you. It's just Rodney and I sitting there in the Florida sun, and we were having some lunch, And he's nervous and he's sweating, and it's not all from the sun, believe me. And he's saying, "Hey, am I okay? Am I okay? It's my first movie." And I said, "Rodney, you're stealing it," and he did.
Yeah.
Now I'm pulling into my building. If I lose you guys, I will call you right back. Deal?
Sure.
But let's see if we can hold this signal. Let's see what happens.
Okay. But yeah, Rodney was great in the movie. He just stole every scene he was in.
Oh yeah. And Ted Knight was legitimately angry by the end of filming because he had a script. He's hanging onto the script with both hands, going, "I've got lines. I've got lines."
Well, Rodney hackles him throughout the whole movie.
Oh yeah, entirely. And Ted's used to being the comic. Suddenly, he finds himself playing straight man to Rodney. Not his intention, trust me.
Well, Rodney, apparently, the story I heard is that he's so used to hearing people laugh that when he wasn't hearing people laugh, that threw him off.
Is what it did. It confused him a lot. He didn't think he was funny, for one thing, and it threw off his timing because comedy is like music, very much. There's timing to it, or timing if it goes wrong.
Right.
And it was throwing him off. And after a while, it was all put together. He got it. But yeah, it was throwing him off.
Well, Rodney, I think, was at his very best, especially at the banquet scene. Holy cow, when he went down that...
Jesus, when he went rolling through the banquet hall like a comic juggernaut thing, whatever the hell pops into his head, yeah, that was amazing.
He was so good in that. And Ted Knight, again, passed away, I think it was 1986, so I would have been 14.
He was one of the first to go, yeah.
Wow, and I'm going to tell you, you ever watch Family Guy?
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, do you ever notice how many reference, not just to Caddyshack, but to Ted Knight alone in that show?
No, I haven't noticed tonight, but I have seen them do me walking by the pool frame by frame, perfectly, which tells me those guys spend way too much time in that editing room.
I never saw that. There was one where...
It's the one where they go back in time, where he finds out what it was like. Something the Quagmires. He goes back in time to find out what his life would be, and it's 17-year-old Lois doing the dive by the pool, just frame by frame, exactly as
I remember that. I've seen that. Now you mentioned it, I do remember seeing that.
The first time I saw that on the air, I was like slackjawed. I was like, what? And they did a really good job, too.
Wow. Yeah, I saw the scene where Peter's sitting at the desk with his father-in-law, and of course they're trying to move their heads past the lamp. And of course the father-in-law shoves...
That's so funny. No, I didn't.
Yeah.
For me, it's popular culture, which is a little frightening, but it has.
Yeah, and then there's another one where Stewie is hanging out with the Star Trek clan, and they come to a drive-through, and you got somebody in the car going, "I want a hot dog, a cheeseburger," and then you got Captain Picard going, "You get nothing and like it."
Oh yeah, I forgot about Spaulding.
No, I haven't seen that. That's hilarious.
I forgot all about Spaulding.
Oh, there's a reason for that, probably.
Yeah, there is.
But, Ted Knight, I guess, was a little up in arms about some of the carrying-on on the set, huh?
He was furious with us by the end of filming. By the end of it, first, he's like my Polish uncle. He puts his arm around me and goes, "Well, Cindy, this is how we do it in Hollywood." He was very, very nice. By the end of filming, he was so mad. The last thing we shot together was when his boat gets wrecked at the marina.
That's my favorite part.
All night the night before at the mother of all rap parties, and I was in my dressing room, and finally, somebody calls me to the set. I go to the set, and he goes, "Where were you? We waited an hour." And I went, "Ted, they didn't look in the room with the door with my name on it. Maybe they should have done that." We had already evolved into our characters.
Wow. Yeah, and...
Yeah, he was pissed.
I guess he wasn't happy with some of the drug use or marijuana use. I think that was on the...
Rodney's marijuana use? Rodney was using just... Rodney was your go... Rodney had more fun than anybody else on the set. Let me just put it that way.
And now it shows it in the movie when he looks at her and says, "Hey, baby, you want to make $14 the hard way?" The bug eyes on him.
Part of that probably was his nightclub act, but who knows?
Oh, yeah, there was a lot of his jokes that were written in. But, yeah, I thought Ted Knight was great in it, but I kind of get it. When you wander into an area where you have one set of ways of doing something, it's kind of hard when people go the other way.
He had lines. And he was used to being the funny guy. Okay, now I'm in the elevator. Let's see what happens here.
All right.
Okay.
Do we have a signal or not? We have a signal. Welcome to the 21st century.
There you go. And of course, Bill Murray and all those scenes with Mr. Gopher making all those.
Most of that shot after the fact. Just remember that was Billy being Billy. You do know that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So but he's just great. I love Bill. Bill's a great guy.
I got the press kit sent to me. You never really had any scenes with him, but there were some pictures of you, and he was, of course, dressed up in his dirty outfits.
Oh yeah, we were just mugging for the camera and doing some press stuff, and he's just a good guy.
Yeah. So, Mr. Gopher, any fond memories?
There was no gopher on the set. There was a gopher puppet that was in one scene that somebody said, "Hey, that kangaroo stole my ball."
Yeah, that's Rodney Dangerfield.
Only gopher in ever on the set. When they brought it all back and they realized it didn't make any sense and they realized they'd have to write something to tie it all together, all the good scenes, that's when the gopher came up. That's when it was a gopher, and they wrote all the stuff, and that's when Bill shot all the stuff after the fact. That's when it happened.
Oh, interesting. I'm glad that happened. Yeah, when the gopher steals his ball, he goes, "Hey, that kangaroo stole my ball," and he starts sticking the golf club down the hole. Kangaroo.
That was the only gopher we saw.
It's interesting because I was at one of the, I don't think it was a toy store, but one of these place that sells these odd gadgets, and they had a Mr. Gopher. You put batteries in, and it does that little dance.
You bet it. Yeah, you have that dancing gopher. It's very, very, very popular.
And I got a couple of Christmas ornaments of one of the gopher in a caddy vehicle, and one of the gopher dressed in Rodney's clothes by the great big.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird that there's ornaments made from Caddyshack for Christmas.
Yeah, I don't even know what to say about that. You tell me.
I think it's interesting in a way. The movie is that funny, and it was, it's lived on for so long, as a great golf comedy. I think, merchandise for the film really keeps it in mind.
Well, you guys it caught me on an interesting day because on Friday I got the go-ahead to talk about something that I haven't talked about for a while, and that is something I've known about for a little bit, but do you guys know about the game convention in Vegas?
I don't.
Not entirely.
Let's see here. Let me make sure I got the right name here. Hang on. It is called. My tech friends are going to think I'm a moron for not getting this on top of everything. Blah 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 blah. Is it G2E or is it? Hang on. I know I sent it to myself this morning. Here we go. The game convention. Oh, come on. Everybody in the world knows the name. Is it G2E?
I don't know.
All right. Oh, here we go. I've got all my emails here. All right. Scientific Games is putting out many games. They were there at the show, and one of the games they're coming out with, they announced it at the gaming convention, is they're making a game out of Caddyshack.
Oh, nice.
I think Python's going to become a gamer now.
Uh-huh. I think that will. Well, they've got a few come out, and it was one of the top rated there, and they are very, very proud of it. And it will be ready to play in a couple of months.
So what's the theme behind this game? Like, what do you do? Do you know?
Slots.
Golf and try to hit Bill Murray.
I haven't seen it, but I know that it's going to be based on the game. There it is. Okay, game. Okay, and yep, they did it. And one of them they announced was Cirque du Soleil. One of them is Cirque du Soleil that they had there at the convention. Come on, dude, open. There we go. Okay, it's at the convention in Vegas. Give me a name. G2E, the gaming industry's largest conference and trade show, and that was a couple weeks ago. And I finally got a green light last Friday to say, yep, the game is on its way.
Yeah, it's the Global Gaming Expo.
Yep.
Yeah.
So tell me about that scene where Ted Knight wrecks the bedroom with the golf club.
He pretty much wrecked the bedroom with the golf club, but I think those things were ready. Those were breakaway. I mean, he didn't. Yes. I mean, he was not in the best mood ever. But I'm sure those were breakaway polls and posters. You know, I mean, he had a golf club, but I'm sure they wouldn't risk hurting him to make him put a golf club through real stuff. You know, they can structure furniture to be,
yeah, I just thought the scene was so funny, and you're just sitting there so confidently shaking your head, and Michael O'Keefe is like running for his life, and he says thank you, and you're just sitting there. I love that confident look on your face, like you're not worried.
Well, you know, the thing is, if you're playing a character like that in a situation like that, you got to pick a lane. You just got to figure, all right, who am I in this situation? I don't know. She was almost audience POV going, and they're doing this now. That's fine. And you just sit down, and she had quite an attitude on her, didn't she?
Yeah, we liked her attitude. And of course, Brian Doyle Murray is in this too. Probably the thinnest I've ever seen him.
Right, that's true.
And we had some interesting. Henry Wilcoxon played the bishop. Right. Now, Bill Murray said he was. I heard him interviewed by Howard Stern. He was saying this guy acted in the silent period.
Yes, he did. He was also, you remember the movie The Ten Commandments? He was Cecil B. DeMille's son-in-law. When you hear the voice, that beautiful booming voice goes, and Moses took the Hebrews out of Egypt. That was his voice. And he was also on camera. He was, I think, Pharaoh's first commander. I mean, he was a brilliant actor. He had seen it all, done it all. So when we were acting up, he was like, whatever. He was probably the only one who wasn't high. He just sat down and went, I'll read a paper. So,
wow.
Wait till they're done.
And you had that interesting Ten Commandments reference when he gets struck by lightning.
Did he? What was that?
Remember in Caddyshack?
No, I remember his scene. I just don't remember his words.
I forget the words, but where he curses God and he has the golf club raised above his head, and right. It was like a Ten Commandments moment.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Well, that's probably why they had Henry in there.
Yes, and another guy no longer with us, Dan is it Raisin, who played Dr.
I think it was
Beeper?
Dan Raisin.
Yeah, played Dr. Beeper, and
yep.
I guess he went into the ministry after this film.
I don't know, but before that he was a Tidy Bowl man.
He was what?
The Tidy Bowl man. He was in commercials. He had a bowl. He was in a boat and rode around your toilet. And told you how to clean it.
I don't remember those.
Me, not so much, but I vaguely remember it. But after he passed, everybody remembered him as that. Yeah.
What was he like?
Nice, great guy.
Now
most people were very nice.
Yeah, there was some interesting caddy people, and one person that I want to mention is Sarah Holcomb. Of course, yeah. I guess. I don't know how well we can talk about this, but I guess I don't. I think they might have mentioned it in the Caddyshack Blu-ray that she had some issues. But I know she was great in Animal House, where she was, of course, in the shopping cart.
In Animal House. Yeah, she was when it came out. I'm not really sure because I don't have the facts, so it wouldn't be right of me to start saying things I'm not clear about.
Yeah,
right.
That was her last film, and she didn't work after that.
What was she like? Oh, we'll go that route. What was she like?
Well, she wasn't my best friend because my understanding was Caddyshack, Lacey Underall, was originally written for her.
Oh.
Ryan, her boyfriend at the time.
Oh, I see.
And so when I first got the job, I had the job, and then a couple days later I didn't have the job. And then a couple days later I did have the job. That was a long week. She probably wasn't thrilled with me because that job was supposed to be hers, and who could blame her?
I suppose so.
Well, a lot of people like that line she had where she turns to
Thanks
Michael.
for nothing.
Yeah, thanks for nothing.
I mean, everybody's like, where did that Irish accent come from? It came from when she found out she wasn't getting the job. There was a trip to Ireland, and I guess she got Irish. It was sort of like, okay, you don't have the part, but we'll take you to Ireland, and you can get an Irish accent, and we'll write another part for you, and that was that.
Oh, okay, I see. I was always wondering if she actually was Irish or not. I couldn't really find any information on her.
Well, she was in Animal House. She was the 13-year-old.
Yeah, she's one of that they put in the shopping cart there in front of the door, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, she got into 2 comedy classics, so she's remembered fondly. Yeah. And then, of course, we have the 2 competing caddies. You had Michael O'Keefe and Scott Columbia. I tell you, Scott Columbia, I really liked him, but I'm going to tell you that scene where where he says, "I'm not paying no 50 cents for no Coke." I'm like, right. I bet you he'd like to pay 50 cents for a Coke now.
Yeah, right, exactly. I'm not. Yeah, Michael and the original story was about Michael O'Keefe and Scott Columbia and the other caddies, and they were not the happiest about the way the whole story took a hard left turn and was about Rodney Dangerfield and Chevy Chase and Bill Murray. They weren't thrilled because they thought it was their movie, but again, at some times they're happy that they were a part of something like that.
Well, Michael O'Keefe, I love that opening scene where he's at the house because it had a very, Harold Ramis did really well at making that look so natural with the family and whatnot. Very large family. And the guy going, he's not going to be a caddy all of his life, is he? And of course he goes out and he goes on his bike and all that beautiful neighbor. That's a gorgeous spot up there.
I'm not sure where they shot, but that was beautiful, yes.
Yeah, that was beautiful. And of course, Scott was the cool guy who went on to do Porky's.
Yeah, the way he found out about Porky's is he heard that floor hitting the script about 90 miles an hour. I was upstairs and I was not going to do it. And so that's how he found out. He picked up the script and he went up on the job.
Oh, you were offered, huh?
Yeah, the Kim Control role, and I just didn't think I wanted to do that. So
that's probably a good choice. I never cared for Porky's in all of its years.
Yeah, so that's how Scott found out about it.
Okay.
What about Lois? What's her? Kabee, who played Ted Knight's wife in the movie?
Oh, Lois Kibbe, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I heard that she was kind of in the same boat as Ted Knight and do the shenanigans going on.
Oh, yeah. Her last words to me were on the final day when we were getting our rides to the airport, and we had just come home from the wrap party, so she had to wait about 10 or 15 minutes. Her last words to me were, "I will never work with an ingenue again."
Oh.
I'm guessing she wasn't happy.
Well, she had that great scene at the swimming pool, of course, with the chocolate bars and
Spalding, no.
In that role. She was really, really good.
Yeah, and Bill Murray, of course, bites out of the chocolate bar and that look on his face.
Oh, she passes out.
And John F. Boren, who played Spalding.
Uh-huh.
I have to say I liked him. Of course, he played, especially when he pukes in the sunroof of the car.
Yeah, I don't know if he's done anything since then. I'm not really sure, but yep, he did do that. I think he's in real estate now.
Oh, gee. Spalding selling real estate.
I think so. I'm not entirely sure, but
that's comical.
Yeah.
So tell me, you go to a lot of conventions, right?
Not. When we say a lot, I haven't been to any for a couple years, but I did a couple this year.
Do you have any interesting stories from those conventions?
Oh, there. It's first. It's a little. You ask yourself, well, why would anybody want my autograph? And then when people tell you these just amazing, heartwarming stories, it's just such a nice feeling because you never know who goes to the movies. You never know who really likes it. I mean, you hear your agent go, "Well, there's nothing going on this week," but when you talk to people who say, I really like that, and or I hear from a lot of people in uniform who say, that's a movie they have on just to lighten the load when they're going through a very difficult time, or somebody who likes computers who goes to see Tron. It's like, that's got me really interested in computers. That you go home feeling like you did something right.
Yeah, and Tron we're going to talk up about here now. How did you get the part for Tron?
I got the part for Tron because I was dating a guy in my comedy improv class who got a job in a cartoon. And I went to lunch with him, and the producers and director were there, and I listened to them and ate lunch and went away and did Caddyshack and came back and didn't work for a long time because Peters made it sure I wasn't going to work for a while because I didn't do everything he said to do. That had nothing to do with my job. And now all of a sudden I get a call from Disney, and I bypass the entire audition process and go straight up to the studio to be put on tape with Jeff Bridges. And I'm like, well, this doesn't make sense, but what does? So I did it, and I got the job. Many years later, I found out that lunch with the cartoon, I said, was that Tron? He goes, yes, it was Tron. And you were out, I was out, you were in. And they took his part. It went from a cartoon to CGI. It was rewritten. His part became 2 parts. And he never took another actress to lunch again, he tells me. So I don't know.
Well, Jeff Bridges and that... I think Jeff Bridges is a great actor. Have you seen The Big Lebowski?
I have not. I have to. I mean, he's just very well loved in that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I know. That seems to be his new image now.
Yeah,
well,
him and John Goodman.
Good for him. If that makes him happy and that makes him comfortable, he's earned it, I think.
What was he like to work with?
Great. Love Jeff. Jeff was just a great guy. Knew what he was doing, made everything very natural and believable, and just an easygoing guy, easy to work with, fun, funny, yeah.
So, okay, okay, I just almost got threw off course here. I was going to say something about Tron Legacy. Did you see that film, or were they going to ask? Okay, what did you think of Tron Legacy?
It was interesting. It was. I saw parts of a lot of movies in it. I saw Star Wars. I saw 2001: A Space Odyssey, Blade Runner. Just a lot. I didn't see as much of Tron as I would have liked. In fact, I was almost halfway through the film when I went, "Is that person with the no face that's sometimes red and sometimes blue? Is that supposed to be Tron?" You know, I was like, I didn't get it. You know, and I had trouble following the story, but a lot of people liked it. It was a different animal than Tron, I think.
I didn't mind Tron Legacy. People
loved it. It was just. It wasn't exactly. It was just a different animal. It wasn't.
I enjoyed it myself.
Yeah.
Quite a bit, actually.
Very, very good audience loves Legacy.
And they managed to make Jeff Bridges look younger.
Yeah, I guess they were using their CGI there.
I wonder if Jeff would say that was really him.
I don't know. He's a pretty straightforward guy. He says he probably would tell you all about it.
Yeah, he seems like a pretty likable guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, I went and saw that, but the one thing the movie was missing was your gorgeous presence.
Well, that's sweet of you to say. In fact, it was kind of a lucky break Disney didn't put me in the movie, because had they put me in the movie, I would be under contract to say what I was told to say. They could control the press, but since I wasn't in the movie, I could put up websites on every platform, talk about it, and I only had 2 rules for my team. Always respect Disney, because Disney isn't one guy. Disney's a bunch of people making decisions, and they have to stand behind them once they make a decision. So always respect Disney, and no whining. There's no whining allowed on this team. So so it was a good thing, because then people came to me and said, "Where were you?" And I said, "I don't know." You know, and people would talk about it, and forums began, and blogs began, and from there, artwork, alternate storylines, and then suddenly the press picked it up, and from there, things took an interesting turn.
Yeah, and Tron was not exactly a big monster hit when it came out, but it was one of these films that gained a cult following, and that really is where a film proves its lasting power.
People, well, you know something, yeah. I was just talking to someone about it earlier, and she asked me a similar question just earlier today, just before I called you guys. Sorry, it was a couple minutes late. I was just finishing up over there, and I said, the funny thing is, I never would have thought either of these films would have lasted the way they did. And I remember when I went to college, and of the classes I did make, the art history class, and I was one of the ones that stood up in those 300 people classes. I said, "Okay, you're showing me all these things. How do you know which one of these things is art?" And the guy said, "Because it stands the test of time. It stands the test of culture. different people can look at it and walk away and see different things, but they will remember it and they will appreciate it. Not that I'm saying Tron or Caddyshack are forms of art. I'm saying it's become part of popular culture because different people see them and they take them into their lives and it becomes part of them. And for that reason, it stood the test of time. And I'll tell you, sure as hell don't know that while you're doing it. You just do the best you can.
Well, I think Caddyshack.
Huh?
I think Caddyshack has stood the test of time in a way because it's one of those comedies you can go back to at any time, and it doesn't get old. You can just laugh at the humor and the jokes, and I think the Gopher really seals that too in a way with the film. But you got actors in it like Bill Murray, Rodney Dangerfield that are incredibly funny, and if you like that kind of comedy and you like sports, the film is a perfect match, and I think it stood the test of time in a way because of that. Because,
I think you're right.
I was looking at it the other day, and it's on the top 10 lists for a lot of things, including ESPN's Golf Channel. It's on their top 10 list for that.
No, it has to be on the ESPN Golf Channel's top 10 list. It has to be.
Exactly. I think the film has stood the test of time. I watched it 20 years ago and laughed my face off, and I still watch it 25 years later now, and still laugh my face off. Like I said, over the summer.
That's hard to make people do. It's hard to laugh at the same thing just because you find it funny again. That's a rough one. But you know what I think the secret was? We really were having a good time.
Yeah,
Yes.
You can tell in the film. When you look at Rodney Dangerfield in the film, when he looks at her and he says, "Hey, baby, you were something before electricity," right? And she goes, "Oh!"
Exactly.
Every time I hear that, I could be just looking at the wall and I'll just start giggling.
Yes. Exactly. We were having a good time. I mean, you can't fake that. You can pretend to laugh. You can pretend to be having a good time. But if you really are, you can tell.
If it's not Rodney Dangerfield, it's Spalding puking in a car. If it's not Spalding puking in a car, it's Chevy Chase romancing you. If it's not that, it's a Gopher or Bill Murray blowing up the golf course,
Sure.
There's so much going on that's so funny in the film, and I really think that's where the comedy works to it, and I think that's where, all the stuff hidden in behind them blowing up the actual golf course, I think that works too, for its legacy.
Oh, yeah.
So
it was awesome to be a part of it. How lucky! Can you imagine your first film out of the gate getting into something like that? How lucky is that?
Yeah, and it was a big hit that year too.
Yeah, it wasn't a hit.
No, it wasn't right away. It took a little bit of time for it to boot in.
Well, it was in the top 20 grossing films of the year. Was
it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was there. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
But it took a while for the movie to kind of find its era, and then when it did, it's exactly what it is today, And I own the DVD of it. It's still funny, and I'll still go watch it anytime just to sit there and go, yeah, he just blew up the golf course. Look, the Gopher just bit his finger.
What were your memories of Harold Ramis? Because, he's no longer...
He's a real sweet guy, real soft-spoken, easygoing guy, and... and he had a lot of Lacey in him. A lot of the things Lacey did came from Harold's mind. Harold would come up to me and whisper something in my ear, and I go, "What? No, just do it. I go, "Why? No, trust me, just do it. And then when I saw the film put together, I went, "Oh, that's what he was up to." So, yeah, a lot of that was Harold. Harold had a great sense of humor. He had a great vision. He really knew what it was, and thank God he had the best personality. He was like a camp counselor, holding all these very, very, very strong personalities together. You had to have one soft-spoken, easygoing guy driving the bus, and that was Harold.
And he had a pretty good career in directing films as well.
He's just a great guy. I everybody loved Harold. He's just awesome.
Did you see Caddyshack 2? And if you did, what did you think of it?
I try. When people ask me which one I was in, I say the funny one. I don't know what to say about. I think they thought that they could just get all the same elements together, get everybody high, and run camera, but that's not really how you do a movie on purpose.
Caddyshack 2 was so painful to watch. I love Dan Aykroyd, but I don't know what the hell they were doing with that film. It was so painful to watch.
I agree. Yeah. Although I have to say, Randy Quaid, I think, added the only original element to it. I think the rest of it was too much of a play on what was done previous.
I think so. I guess Randy's back in the States as of a couple days ago.
Yeah, he's been... I've been watching him on YouTube. I don't know what happened to him, but...
That's right. He was up there by you guys. And all of a sudden across the border for what reason? I mean, what? Who knows?
I don't know.
You don't ask. You just say, okay.
Yeah, the whole thing with Randy Quaid is kind of spooking me a little bit there, but at the same time, I don't know what the hell to make of that.
Not a lot of people do, but I guess he's back over here, and yeah, he was over there. What was it? Ottawa, he was? I think it was
Vancouver.
Oh, excuse me. Okay,
he was in Vancouver. He was right on the border there, and they were holding him there. And now you say he's back in America. I'm kind of nervous to find out what's going to happen from him next, because I did see some of that, and I don't think he's faking that. I think he strongly believes in what he's attempting to set out to accomplish there. I just wish he'd go back to acting.
Not sure, but I he's one of those actors who is well loved, and I hope he find some peace in whatever's happening.
Find some common ground with what's going on with all that stuff,
I really don't. I mean, I really don't understand it myself. But,
I know, I don't either. I have absolutely no idea what that's all about, and I'd like an idea actually, because you look
talking about star whackers.
Yeah, you bring up a video, and his lawyer's standing right there. His wife is standing on the other side, and he's right in the middle, and he's so sincere about reading from this paper. It makes you wonder what the hell's really going on with that whole thing. And
not a clue.
Yeah, I have no idea either. I'm completely stumped.
One more film you did I wanted to ask you about was Midnight Hour.
Yeah, the Midnight Hour. Oh, that's just so funny. It's just the most hilarious concept on paper. A musical comedy ABC movie of the week horror picture. That alone is funny.
Kevin.
Then you mix. I
was going to say Kevin McCarthy had one of the great lines in the film. He goes, "Shut up when you're talking to me."
Kevin McCarthy.
Yeah, it was funny.
I love the scene where the zombie is like on the park bench there with the newspaper.
I know.
Stuffs it under his arm.
One of the things that didn't end up on camera is when, not to spoil everything, but of course the substitute teacher at the end turned zombie. Okay, that last scene was very hard to shoot. Took all night. I'm backwards, impaled on a bush. Finally, daybreak comes. Everybody breaks, gets in their cars, run home, and I'm still stuck in the damn bush. And if you've been there for like 3 hours, it's a little hard to peel yourself off. I get off, and it's daybreak. I'm like, oh, my God, just get to the car, drive home down the 405 freeway, and pray that no cops stop you, because it's going to be impossible to explain why you have white makeup all over your face and blood trickling down from your mouth.
Isn't it always fun when the cops pull you over like that?
It gets better. I take out the fake fangs. I get myself home. I get myself to my house in the hills, and I'm still in this vampire makeup, and my darn cat sneaks out, and I don't want him, because we have coyotes up there. So I'm walking around calling him, Godzilla, Godzilla, Godzilla. I named my cat Godzilla. I look like a vampire. I walk up to a couple of my neighbors.
Nice.
They look at me. I said, I was working on a movie last night. My cat's out. And they're backing up so fast you can hear a beeping noise. They're like, okay, see you later. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. And they're out of there. They just think, I'm wearing vampire makeup. And it's not Halloween. I did get the cat. Godzilla got back into the house. Everybody was happy. And I got that makeup off.
You did quite a bit of TV, too. Like, I've noticed your credits, like Love Boat, Chips, Falcon Crest, Fall Guy, Matlock, Larry Sanders Show. What was your... what was your favorite memories, or a couple of your favorite memories for shooting television?
Oh, working with Andy Griffith, remarkable. Obviously, just can you imagine?
Yeah.
Or working with just on the Fall Guy, Lee Majors, wonderful. Working with people who are icons. You work with them, and you see them, and then all of a sudden you're working with them, and you're going, I'm doing this. This is awesome. This is just, I can't believe I'm doing this, but damn it, I'm doing it. And those are the days you really do want to get up and go to work at 4:30 in the morning when it's still dark out before anybody else gets there. And because you're a woman, you spend 2 hours in makeup instead of 1. And, on those days, you just don't care. You're just happy and lucky to be doing it.
Wow. Well, I got a couple more questions before we close off. Number one, I would love to get an autographed picture of you. How do I go about that?
You send me your information, and I can send it off from here.
Perfect.
Okay. Have you ever been up this way before? You know where Fredericton, New Brunswick is?
I know I've been up there because my dad used to love to go up and go fishing up there. I was younger, but fishing was his thing. He was born in Chicago but raised in southern Poland. so he loved his fishing.
Oh, I'm a big
Fishing's
fisher.
popular up here.
Oh, yeah, I'm a fisherman.
Yeah, oh my gosh, fishing was everything. So I remember it's beautiful, and Canada's so beautiful. Just the fresh air alone, just that fresh air, and it just seems like, once you cross the border, everybody seems to relax a little bit. I don't know what's going on.
You familiar with any of our Canadian artists, like the Trailer Park Boys?
I don't know if I know the Trailer Park Boys. Maybe you should send me that, or do I want it?
Ivan Reitman produced the first Trailer Park Boys movie. It's a television series up here, but Ivan Reitman produced the first movie in 2006.
Yeah, he did too, actually.
It's our Cheech and Chong, only it's life on the...
Okay, gotcha. It just seems like a very, well, except for Quebec. Quebec seems a little more, agitated. There's a lot more going on over there.
That's where I'm from.
Okay, is there a lot more going on in Quebec? I only know enough French to know when I'm...
Quebec is a very patriotic province, and they have their own everything. It's basically in a way, their own world,
Very much.
I'm from Montreal.
So you know what I'm talking about.
I do. I
Vancouver
very much do.
Easy going. Vancouver's pretty easy and artsy and that kind of thing. And
Montreal is very, the city itself, it keeps care of itself. The whole province itself is like we are. Our trees have to blossom and our roads have to be fixed, and, you come down here to New Brunswick, it's a little different. But Quebec is very patriotic in its own little world. Like, when you look at a map and you see the outline for Quebec, that is, if you're going to enter into that line, there's a reason that you're going to come out smiling and you're going to experience something completely different.
Oh, that sounds good. No, it's been a while since I've been to Canada. Last time I was in Canada, I shot a film in Vancouver, and that's been so long. But looking forward to coming back. Everybody was just really kind and really helpful. Gosh, I remember stopping on the street once, asking somebody directions to the district where the restaurants were. And the nice folks not only stopped and pointed and told me any directions, they practically invited me home to have dinner at their house.
Oh, there you go.
It was really warm and lovely, and I wasn't afraid. It wasn't weird. It was just genuinely nice. So,
in Quebec?
Yeah, looking forward to coming. Hey, there's shows in Canada. Why aren't I doing autograph shows in Canada? I have not done one autograph appearance, any appearances in Canada. Can you boys make that happen?
Well, we have the Silver Wave Film Festival that happens here in Fredericton, New Brunswick in November.
Well, I think I should be there.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Just look up the NB Film Co-op.
Yeah.
Yep, that's New Brunswick Film Co-op, and just get in touch with Tony and Kathy, who are the heads of that.
No, that's something I should do. I think going to Canada, it's always good going to a part of the country you haven't been, because then you learn something, you see something, and each city has its own personality. It really does.
It's very true. The three big cities around here are St. John, Fredericton, and Moncton. St. John's known for its industries, oil, stuff like that. Moncton is, well, I lived there for a very long time, and there's not really much there anymore. But Fredericton here is really peaceful and quiet. It's kind of the perfect place to raise a family in a way. It's a university city, and there's a lot of opportunity here.
And that's what I love about. Going to different cities and meeting different heads of people and just different personalities and different. It's such a rich area. So that. Rich with culture, rich with beauty, rich with just things to see and do and learn.
Oh, there's lots of fishing here, too.
Lots of fishing. Fishing.
I'm a fisherman.
I miss the change of seasons, I'm down here in South Florida. It's warm, but the leaves don't fall from the trees.
Well, one thing we are known for are our cold winters, and it's coming, and I cannot wait.
I'm from Chicago. Let's talk cold winters.
Chicago, the Windy City, one of my favorite cities in America.
Well, then root for the Cubs, dude, because we're scratching our way through. After 12 years, we're back in the playoffs.
Well, if you want me
Wait a
to...
minute, don't you have a team in the playoffs? Don't you guys have a team in the playoffs?
Oh, do we? I don't think so.
I'm a Montreal Canadiens fan. I hate Toronto.
Oh.
Okay,
the Blue Jays? Oh, my mom loves the Blue Jays.
Okay, then I'm shutting my mouth. I won't say anything then.
Oh, I don't know. I don't follow it.
I do. Well, hockey I do, of course, but I'm a Montreal Canadiens fan. Of course, I'm from Quebec.
Oh, my God. The worst hockey story in the world. I did an event in Buffalo, right? So and Buffalo's right on the border, and you guys had a hockey game. It was myself and Henry Winkler. We were the two at their the world's largest disco event. And right across the border, what's the name of their hockey team?
I don't know.
Right across the border from Buffalo. Was it the Toronto Maple Leafs? What was it?
For hockey?
Yeah, who's your hockey team? Right across the border, isn't it Toronto? What's right across the border from?
Only thing.
From us here in New Brunswick?
No, not New Brunswick. Buffalo, New York. Buffalo, New York. Who's right across the border? Isn't that Toronto?
Yeah. It is. It's right by it. Yeah.
So that must have been the Maple Leafs, yeah?
Yes. Oh, yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, I had to clue into what you were saying there for a second. Yeah, it's Toronto Maple Leafs.
I'm sorry, we're talking hockey. You're Canadians. I thought every Canadian knew hockey. So okay. So they do
99% of us do.
Yeah, so we're at the hockey game, and afterwards, oh my God, hockey's become kind of a brutal sport, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
And after the hockey game, we're down in, of all places, the bar. Now, I don't go to bars. I mean, I just go home. No, come on down. Now, the Canadians are there because they just came across the border, and the Americans are there. And the Canadians are going, the Americans are going, oh, yeah, well, we're raising the prices of the tickets, and the Canadians are paying. And the Canadians are going, yeah, they can raise the prices all they want. Our economy's just fine, so we don't care. So I'm like, okay, get me out of this one. And I'm trying to back up and go to my room, and they go, so what hockey team do you like? And I went, I'm from Chicago. I like the Hawks. Dead silence.
Oh.
The Hawks had just taken the Stanley Cup. I couldn't have said a worse thing in my entire life. I should have just said, hockey, I'm sorry, I don't know what that is. That would have been much better.
I think that's hilarious. I'm a Montreal Canadiens fan, and they're from Toronto, Ontario. I think that's hilarious. The Toronto Maple Leafs got stunned.
Oh, it was the worst thing I could have said. Right between the Buffalo Sabres and the Maple Leafs, and they're asking me what team I like, and I said, I'm from Chicago. I mean, because when you're from Chicago, it's a religion. You have to say you like the Hawks. I mean, you have to be a sports fan. So, yeah. Next time I'm in the city, I will pretend I know nothing about sports. That's
very much the same thing in Quebec. It's hockey is a religion there. For Toronto, when walks in there and says, "Oh, I like the Maple Leafs," he's probably going to get run to the town with pitchforks and torches.
This is what I'm saying. That's the look they had on their faces. So I'm not going to be very careful. I'm going to do the blonde thing. Sports? What sports? I don't understand. Why don't you explain it to me? I don't understand. So yeah, from now on, I've learned my lesson. I know nothing from unless I'm home. Then I can talk about Chicago all day long.
When you go to Montreal, believe me.
Yeah.
You go to Montreal and you say you love the Montreal Canadiens, they will put you up on their hands and carry you through the city. Whatever you want, free food, free beer. And you say to them, bonjour, j'aime the Canadiens de Montréal. You say that, you get whatever you want.
See, I've got to learn to say it with a Canadian accent. I've lost my Canadian French accent, which screwed me up. So I'll have to get that back.
Well,
it's easier, though.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm really, really grateful for Barbara on your webpage helping hook this together.
She's the employee of the month every month. She's been saving my butt. So if you guys just make sure you send me the info where to send it to, and we'll get you. You know how to get to my CindyMorgan.com website. Go there, go to Cindy's store, pick out a couple photos. I'll sign them and send them to you.
Awesome.
Awesome.
I'd like that myself, actually.
Before you go, could you do a plug for our show and our station?
Sure. What's the line?
Okay, just introduce yourself and say that. Introduce yourself, a.k.a. Lacey Underall and Caddyshack,
sure.
And then say that you're listening to Python's Paradise on
Python's Paradise.
Yeah, on CHSR FM in Fredericton, New Brunswick.
Okay, that I'm going to have to write down. The rest of it I got. CHSR FM. In New Brunswick?
Yeah.
There's another word.
Fredericton, New Brunswick.
Okay, CHSR-FM in Frederick, New Brunswick?
That's right, Fredericton, New Brunswick.
Got it. Okay, you ready? You rolling?
We're ready.
Right.
Hi, this is Cindy Morgan, but you probably know me better as Lacey Underall in Caddyshack or Yori in Tron. Either way, you're listening to CHSR-FM in Fredericksburg. Well, okay, I blew it. Is it Fredericks or Fredericksville?
Fredericton.
Fredericton?
Fredericton.
Spell that.
Frederick, and then Ton.
Oh, Fredericton. Fredericton?
Yeah.
Ah, see, you threw me. It all sounded really good up to there, though, didn't it?
Well, that's okay. I can edit it all together.
No, I got it. Okay, I'll do it again.
Okay.
Fredericton, New Brunswick. Hi, I'm Cindy Morgan, but you probably know me as Lacey Underall in Caddyshack or Yori in Tom. No, I can't say a oops.
Say whatever you want.
I can't say a damn thing. Hi, this is Cindy Morgan, but you probably know me as Lacey Underall in Caddyshack or Yori in Chump. Why can't I say Tron? Because I'm saying fun. I got that ton on my head.
Canadian.
Hi. Okay, take 5. Hi, this is Cindy Morgan, but you probably know me as Lacey Underall in Caddyshack or Yori in Tron. And you're listening to CHSR-FM in Fredericton, New Brunswick.
That's perfect.
We love you,
a
Cindy.
miracle.
Yeah.
That was perfect.
Well,
It was okay. At least I got the facts right.
well, Cindy, I hope you enjoyed the interview. We always try to stick to the films. We don't like to ask personal questions, and just wanted to have a discussion about your movie career and your television career, and we celebrated Caddyshack and Tron, and I want to say I'm a fan of yours, and I think you're gorgeous.
Yeah, I hope.
Let me know when you run it so I can link to it, because I will link it to all of my pages. I told you I got them, and I got a lot of them.
Yes, yeah, it might be a couple of weeks, but we will link it to you. And do you want us to keep your mistakes in pronouncing the?
I don't care as long as if it plays, play it.
Oh, sure. I think it's funny, but it adds a bit of humanity. Shows that nobody's perfect.
Oh, that's a very human moment. You got it.
Yeah. Well, Cindy, I'm a huge fan of yours, and we appreciate you coming on here, and it's so awesome to have you come on and talk to us.
You.
Yeah, I hope.
Well, I had a good time, and you guys are great. And yeah, go ahead and keep the mistakes. My mistakes are sometimes my best work. So what the hell?
I hope we can meet you at Silver Wave Film Festival. I started to blush there for a little bit, if we're being honest here.
We'll send you the link to that.
Yeah, definitely get me the link so that I can cross-promote it over here. People will love it.
Yeah, and then, and if you happen to come down here, come into CHSR and we could talk to you live.
Sounds good to me. Thanks, you guys. And make sure you send me those, when you email me, send me the pictures. I've got to run over to Knoxville, Tennessee this week, and sometime next week it'll probably get out. I'm so far behind right now, it's not even funny. But, send me that, and it'll get out probably next week.
Okay. Well, God bless you, and
thank you
for coming on. And watch out for Mr. Gopher.
Oh, the Gopher's doing just fine.
The Spalding isn't.
I'm not sure what he's doing.
I love that goofball.
You got it. I'm not a clue, but if I find anything out, I'll let you know.
All right.
Okay.
All right, guys. Thanks so much for the interview. Sorry it took so long.
Oh, don't worry. Well, thank you. Thank you for coming on.
We appreciate it, and I appreciate it. And make sure you let me know, and we will cross-promote.
Sure.
All right.
God bless and have a great day.
You too. Thanks so much.
Bye-bye.
Yep, bye.
Bye-bye.